After the menace that was the VMAX, we all know how much I hate Dragapult cards. So it pains me to tell you that yes, Dragapult EX is living up to the hype in Japan. And one of the surprising partners is Charizard EX. Now, you might be wondering, how can I make my feet as smooth as yours, Trust Your Pilot? And the answer is, you just gotta be born this way, baby. Also, how does this deck draw cards without Pidgeot EX or Bibarel? That's where Dracloak comes in. Featuring the same ability as Pidgeotto from Team Up, Dracloak allows you to look at the top two cards of your deck. You put one into your hand and the other on the bottom of your deck. It's insane value, which also means the strategy with this Stage 2 deck shifts from heavy counts of rare candy to relying more on TM evolution. With these Charizard EX builds, the strategy looks simple. Get a bunch of Dracloak online early, draw a bunch of cards while giving up a prize or two, then get your beefy Stage 2s going. Dragapult EX deals 200 damage and spreads 6 damage counters to bench Pokemon. You can power it up right away thanks to Charizard EX's ability and a manual Psychic Energy attachment, and then use those damage counters to soften up targets that would otherwise be out of Charizard's range on pivotal turns. It's kind of a busted combo. And with Dragapult lacking a weakness, your opponent has to use a big attacker like Chenpao EX or Golden Go EX to knock it out. Roaring Moon EX and Giratina V-Star also have that one-shot potential, which is why the deck runs a copy of Mist Energy. But Charizard isn't the only way to play Dragapult. Thanks to Dracloak, Dragapult can be paired with so many different Pokemon because it's its own draw Pokemon. Enter Monkey Dory and Armarouge. Armarouge allows you to use Magma Basin to attach a Fire Energy to a Fire Pokemon in play, then accelerate it up to Dragapult, enabling easy attacks. Then you attach either the Legacy Energy or a Luminous Energy to Monkey Dory, giving you even more spread capabilities while also healing your Dragapult a tiny bit. Or what if you just went hard on Dragapult? Pair it with the new Tatsugiri, which is similar to Jirachi from Team Up but weaker, and you have a Pokemon that can look at the top 6 cards of your deck and grab any supporter there. The versions from Japan with Tatsugiri also feature a card no one's really ever played, Lance. It's a supporter that just grabs you any 3 Dragon Pokemon. Considering that these lists play around 12 dragons, Lance is finally useful. And if you want to get that Psychic Energy onto Dragapult EX while also drawing a couple of cards in the process, there's Xatu. Thanks to cards like Mela and Experience Share, you really only need a 1/1 or 2/2 line of Xatu to justify its existence. God, I hate how many ways you can play Dragapult. Despite all these different wacky builds though, by far the most successful list sees Dragapult EX paired with Pidgeot EX. The first build has a bigger emphasis on rare candy, getting those Dragapult and Pidgeot up and running early, using Unfair Stamp to control their hand as soon as turn 2, then hitting hard and spreading with Dragapult right after. I fully agree with the copy of De-Evolution, but I'm still surprised that TM Evolution isn't seeing more play. It just seems like a perfect fit, especially if you already have 4 copies of Arven. One thing every Dragapult list had in common on day 1 is the Radiant. Because Dragapult attacks for a Fire and a Psychic Energy, Radiant Charizard was the pick, giving the deck a potential 250 damage attack for a single energy. On day 2 though, Radiant Alakazam gained more traction, able to spread around the damage counters more efficiently. Ironically, there's also a number of builds that don't have a Radiant at all, which I found crazy. But if your goal is to force them to KO high HP 2 prizers and deny a prize with Legacy Energy, a Radiant just kinda makes their life easier. One thing Japanese players can't seem to decide on is the Ace spec. The Charizard version plays Prime Catcher to pick targets. A couple different versions play that Legacy Energy to deny the prize card. Remember that Enhanced Hammer is getting reprinted, so Special Energy can be bumped in our next format. And Unfair Stamp more than lives up to its name. If your opponent knocks out any of your Pokemon at any point, you can stamp them to 2 cards while you get 5. Again, Dragapult is extremely versatile and extremely scary. A couple of other important cards for Dragapult are TM Evolution and Mela. Because you're spreading so many damage counters, De-Evolution allows you to wreck rare candy decks or stage 1 decks with low HP basics. And Mela allows you to attach a Fire Energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, provided somebody was just knocked out. There's so much synergy out there with Dragapult, it's almost like the Pokemon Company wants it to be successful just to spite me. One thing to keep in mind is that Twilight Masquerade just came out in Japan. It's early days and things will definitely level off in the coming weeks, but Dragapult commanded a 20% share in Japan in the first City League, making it by far the best new deck. Everything else like Lugia and Charizard is already available until we get to Greninja EX at just 3%, though I expect that to rise over time. I'll have lots more Twilight Masquerade decks as we get closer to launching Pokemon TCG Live on Thursday, May 23rd, so make sure you're subscribed. And starting next month, I'll include lists in the descriptions that you can easily copy and paste into Live to be ready for day one.